Good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the morning dump. It's July 9th, Thursday. I'm your host, Jose Galison, and this is the kitty of the day. It doesn't have a name yet. This is I had kitties over last weekend. This is the second litter, the youngest litter we have. So this is what, like 4 days, 5 days, something like that. Pretty young, but they're growing well. You can see, look, little fat little fuck. So eating well, so you can tell they're doing good. But it's a little black torty kitty, as you can tell. I guess you kind of can't tell as much when they're little. A lot of the colors you kind of can tell, but they kind of come in more as they come along. But pretty clear this one's going to be a black torty. Very, very cute little guy. Just hanging out with mama. You can see I'm wearing gloves, so I got to be really careful when they're this little. But with that, and you guys can see I have I'm in a different studio today, different part of my house. And that is why we're able to bring in the little kitties today, because it gives me access to the part of my house where we keep the little kitties at. So a little treat for you guys today on a Thursday. But with that, guys, if you like seeing my hot takes Monday through Friday, typically around 11 a.m. Eastern, we're a little bit late, had to take care of some kitties. Or if you just like, Monday through, God, I screwed up my whole screen. If you like seeing these hot takes Monday through Friday, or if you just like seeing the kitty of the day, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell for notifications. That way you can see when we're going live and when we're dropping new videos. We'll see you in the show.
Beautiful thing right now.
Rise and shine. It's a beautiful day.
CIAMKULTRA.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to white lights.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
It's crazy evil.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a good one. We have plenty to go through today, although I am going to try to keep it on the shorter side, but we still have plenty to go through. Probably be a little bit on the denser side. We'll see. I don't know. Hopefully we don't have to cut any segments. I think we'll be all right. But we have plenty to go through. As always, we start the show off with some Icebreaker content, a little fun, funny gym pop. We'll keep it a little bit funny. I do have a funny story for you guys in there today, but mostly it's just going to be a follow-up on the Graham Platner story. But we have a tie-in that'll make it fit for Icebreaker content. It'll be fun. And then we'll get into foreign policy, which, as I said, I hope we don't have to cut a segment. This is where I'm like, I don't know. There's a lot going on in foreign policy today. We missed yesterday, so it's kind of a double booking of foreign policy. So just warning you ahead of time if you don't like that portion of the show. But that's what we do timestamps for. But yeah, we got that coming up. We got a big double helping. We got the MOU seemingly, like it's not even seemingly, it basically just has dissolved at this point. And then we will get into fighting Candace fatigue. We'll talk about the Tyler Robinson trial. Just kind of going through, and when I say fighting fatigue, we're gonna this show typically, you guys know the format of the show. It's an info dump sort of format. But even more so today with that, because that's kind of the whole point of that theme of the topic or whatever, is that like I have very much checked out of the Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk, Teep USA stuff, and it is from Candace fatigue. So I'll probably talk a little bit about Candace, but we're mostly going to be checking in on just kind of assorted bookmarks and stuff, just checking in on what is going on there. The trial is kicked off, and so we need to check in what's going on. So I have a number of slides for you guys for that, and then we will get into MKULTRA hearing / program to Chicken Hawk, kind of making a through line from the MKULTRA hearings to Manchurian candidates to pedo rings, which is basically what we talk about the show on all the time, isn't it? But all of that and more. Small chance we might have to nix an MKUltra one, but if not, whatever, we'll just come up probably tomorrow. Assuming we do one tomorrow, I don't see why we wouldn't. But I do have a lot of like kitties and weird stuff going on right now. So like, who knows? Maybe I won't be here tomorrow. But if not, whatever, just be on the next dump, whenever that may be. But with that, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into some Icebreaker content. But I'd give you a little bit of quick reminder. I did remind you guys we do timestamps here. This is an info dump format sort of show. But just a casual reminder for, that we do timestamps for those who do listen, like don't listen live, aren't here for the live experience. We do accommodate you guys. You guys can jump around from topic to topic, and you can avoid having to be mired in the live chat banter. You can just skip right on past it. We keep that towards the end of each segment every day. And then also a little reminder for the people who are here for the live experience, which is the way to go. You guys get at least one good morning. After that, you get gotta catch my interest or catch my wallet. I don't know why I'm all spacey this morning. You gotta catch my interest or catch my wallet. After that, wallet obviously being super chat, so you can support the show in that way. Or you can get some other perks, with like early shows and stuff like that. Access to different perks over here in the top left-hand corner. QR code, patreon.com/nowayjose2020 if you'd like to support that way as well, as opposed to just getting the perk of me reading your chat. And I feel like I have a pretty good mind of who's my patron. So I'll be honest, I am biased when I answer that chat too. So I say you got to catch my interest or catch my wallet. Part of catching my wallet is if I know you're a patron and I see you in the chat, I will probably prioritize you a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, the almighty dollar speaks. And I love you guys. We have a nice little Telegram community over there. I like the community we've created over with the supporting group over there, and it's not much. It's like $2. There's other perks at higher levels, but you get pretty much most of it too. So, but with that, I've rambled enough. Let's get into Icebreaker content. In Maine, we've got some crazy shit going on. Recently I saw news of a story of a man who cut off his penis and then used it to start a blaze in his neighbor's garage. Now, I've seen elsewhere people are saying it was his mom's garage. Maybe we should take a moment. I thought I saw mom's garage. I don't know. This is one of those stories. It's like the truth of it doesn't even matter. Just the absurdity of this being a headline somewhere is what really matters. The truth of it's kind of like whatever. But this is from the New York Post. So the New York Post has a headline out there: arsonist cuts off penis, then uses it to start a blaze in neighbor's garage. So let's check in. I guess whatever. We may as well. I'm kind of a little bit curious. I'd seen this was a Maine story. Oh wait, I guess there's what the fuck? Someone lied to me. Okay, never mind. I'm incorrect. This is an Indiana story. I guess he's Indiana. I saw somewhere else because they replied on one of the Graham Platner things and they shared this and they're like, people ought to vote. This would be a better guy to vote for in Maine. And it said something about being in Maine, so I thought he was a Mainer. I'm retarded. Forgive me. But either way, whatever. That was going to be my segue from that to Graham Platner. Bow, I am absent a segue from this to Graham Platner. But whatever. Fucked up. This is my fault for not doing my homework. But either way, this is an absurd story. Dude cuts off penis, uses start blaze in neighbor's garage. Let me see. There's got to be drugs or something involved. You don't just like normally just cut off your ween. That is an insane thing to do. Also, how do you light a dingleberry or a dinkleberry? I meant to say like a donger or something. I was trying to think of like a childish term for a wiener to not get deboosted too hard. But I mean, I did get one of those. I think it was for Christmas. One of those like butane or not, one of those like torch guns things that you like hook like one of those little like Coleman grill propane tanks to, and you can like ignite it and it's like a gun like that. You could actually probably, I bet you if you had something like that, you could light your dick on fire pretty easily. But aside, you would need a pretty good fire source to light a wiener on fire. Because I mean, what are we like? Something? Don't they say you're like 70% water or something retarded? I don't buy that stat. That sounds ridiculous. That doesn't make sense. I feel like it would be fluid on the floor at that point. But either way, there's still a lot of fluid in a human body. So setting a wiener on fire, he would need something. God, some of these ads are out of control. Sorry, I'm trying to skim through and find the details for you guys, but these ads, I'm going to have to figure out the ad blockers. This is Christopher. God, it keeps jumping all over the page from these ads too. This is ridiculous. Christopher Pedden, 36, Fort Wayne. He copped to giving himself the shaft. Yeah, they're having a lot of fun with the wording in this piece for sure. For example, they said his arson plan was a bunch of junk that was related in. So whoever got this piece was really hamming up and having fun. He told cops he harmed himself inside the garage by cutting off his penis with a kitchen knife. Jesus Christ. Let's see if there's any explanation here. During the totally nuts kindling plan, he poured gasoline on his. Okay, he put gasoline on his penis. Okay, that's one way to make sure you ain't getting it back. Set it on fire on the floor of the garage just inside the door. So it's not even really like, even calling this arson, it's like just inside the door. You're in a garage. I guess it depends on how much stuff is in the garage, because garages are usually like usually gonna have like cement floors, maybe like stucco walls, or like, so it's like if you're just throwing the center of like a normal garage, like it's like whatever. I mean, it's more of a statement of here's my dick than it is like trying to burn a house down. When he ran to the police, I guess he initially claimed he'd been slashed or stabbed or something, but he soon copped to being dishonest about stabbing and said he wanted to be truthful. Like, I think they would have figured that one out pretty quick. I'm curious though, like, did he really? Because I'm not seeing anything like confirmation from like a doctor. Because it's my understanding if you cut a dick off, I think you can die from cutting your dick off. I mean, although maybe he found a way to cauterize the wound or something. Because it's literally, people say drain the vein. It's literally a vein. It's not quite to like artery status, but I believe you can die from getting your dick cut off. That was I felt like I'd heard that somewhere before. Just seemed like an awful way to go. They collected evidence from the garage: red plastic gas container, 4 lighters, and a kitchen knife. Yikes. Okay, he's due in court next week, so maybe we'll find out more information about whether he really did lose his wiener or not. Like you'd really feel like they'd emphasize something of explain. No, just no context really given at all. Like, figured there'd be some, I don't know, journalism done here aside from just the basic facts, like just like a little bit of the why. Nope, no why here whatsoever. This dude just cut his wiener off, and he's in Indiana, and his name's Christopher Pettin. Thanks a lot, New York Post. Great journalism. Moving on. Sorry, I don't have the segue. I thought it happened in Maine, and like an idiot, I didn't check. I didn't dot my I's, cross my T's. But either way, whatever. Imagine this guy was from Maine, and we can segue over. I should have just stopped there, just pretended he's from Maine. Who cares? Who cares what the dude cut his dick off from, what state he's from? You care that some dude cut his dick off and set it on fire in somebody else's garage. So that's what you care about. But either way, let's check in the Platner stuff. We talked a lot about Platner in the last dump. Apparently he's dropped out. So I figured I didn't really want to make a whole segment out of this. We're not going to watch this whole clip. We're seeing that he dropped out. He put up an 11-minute, I guess thing. I guess he's still denying everything, but dropping out. So let's watch some of this. I might end up putting on a fast forward. I'm definitely not going to subject you guys to the full 11 minutes. You guys can go check it out on your own if you want. Just search for Graham Platner for Senate, and you can find it there. But let's watch this together. 1 second. I just realized my audio is out. So I've got to take it down and bring it back up. Sorry, StreamYard is whack sometimes. Here we go. Here it is.
Hey everyone, it's Graham Platner here. I think as many of you know, over the past couple days, I have faced some very serious allegations, and I just want to make it clear. This is all false. The things that have been claimed did not happen. It's not real. It has placed an immense amount of weight on me as I think about what needs to happen now. Amy and I are regular people. We were not looking for this experience. We were not looking to get into politics. We had no desire to run for office. I just want you to think about like what you would do as a regular person in a position where a much larger world, large forces, were working against you personally to accuse you of the worst thing that a person could do, and it was not remotely true. I learned about this through press inquiries, with no time to truly respond, no time for investigations, before a corporate media system and the political establishment got to act as judge, jury, and executioner. Accusations are supposed to be the beginning of things, not the end. I think it's really important to understand why this is happening in the timeline, why this is happening right now. Much like October, when the first attack started, much like the news that was created the week before the primary, there is a reason that this is happening now. I only have until July 13th until I am officially the nominee. This was the last week to try to get me off of the ballot. And that's why this is occurring. It's not the false allegations, though, that have brought us to where we are. It's the fact that they're being used by the political establishment to put structural pressure on us. We live in a political system that is not built for normal people. It is a system that is built structurally to make sure that movements like ours cannot flourish. That if they begin to succeed, they can be crushed. What we have accomplished here, you made possible. The people of Maine.
Actually, we may end up finishing it just to let you guys know, because he's talking so slow because he's doing the somber thing. I think we can put this to a full 2x, and so it'll only put us around 5 minutes. So just letting you guys know, I think we're gonna watch this whole thing. I'm kind of drawn in. And he's talking slow enough. We can 2x it. So let's keep going.
The volunteers, the voters, the grassroots donors, and I have all the faith in the world that we could win if we could continue to harness that. But the brutal political reality is that they are going to take everything away from us. Those in power, who have the ability to do so, are using these allegations as an excuse to take away all of the things that we need to run a campaign. We are going to lose our ability to fundraise. We are going to lose our ability to access voter data. We are going to lose all of the things that any campaign needs on the basic level simply to function. Larger organizations, the national level party, the bigger donor networks, they have all committed to spending no money in this race if I'm in it. They would rather...
By the way, I see you guys talking about the audio. I think it's on him. I think he's just like kind of boomering it up with how he's doing it. He's doing his phone. It's away from him. I think it's just the audio is not great. So, I mean, can you guys hear it? You guys can hear it, right? Let me know you can hear it. If not, whatever, we will cut it short because I'm not going to make you guys listen to 7 minutes of audio that's way too fucking quiet for you. But either way, I'll try to be quiet so you guys can listen in, and my booming voice doesn't drown his out.
See Susan Collins win, then have me be the next senator from Maine. What comes next needs to come from the people. Needs to come from the people of Maine. Needs to come from the voters who on June 9th, at a strength of over 150,000, the largest number in the history of Maine primaries, said no to this kind of politics. Voted for a politics that would actually represent them. Voted against the political system, against the donor class, against the entrenched forces. And I'm not asking for how this process is going to work. I'm not trying to dictate to anyone who it should be or how we get there, but I will say this. It needs to be open, transparent, and democratic. It needs to be reflecting the will and the values of the people that built this movement, the people that showed up on June 9th. People in D.C. need to stay in D.C. Decisions should not be made in back rooms by people in places of political power. Party apparatchiks are not the ones to make these decisions. These decisions need to be made in the open by the people of this state, the people who got us here. This is exactly the kind of political system that everyone voted against on June 9th. And for that reason, we need to be assured that it is going to be open and democratic as we move forward. Amy and I struggled about getting into this. Last summer, right around this time of year, we sat down and we looked at each other and we said, if we believe in the kind of politics we think that we do, we have to do this. Over the past couple days, really yesterday and today, we've had to have that exact same conversation.
All right, I think I will kill it here. It is just kind of just droning on at this point. I don't really care. We don't need to listen to the last 4 minutes or so of this. Also, some of you guys are still saying it's too quiet for you, so I'm sorry for the volume. It was as up as I could put it, so it is what it is. But my bad. We'll move on from that. Yeah. Although I did want to add in the commentary that actually was essentially more eloquently put of what I was trying to get at the other day. Here is Philip Lead. I don't know if he's anybody of significance. Somebody with a few thousand followers, but a good take. Give him a little like here. He says, the point of the rape allegations were not to get you to confess or deny that you raped someone, but to get you to drop out of the race. Platner would have better luck confessing to sexual impropriety and staying in the race than dropping out and denying them. The worst thing you can do is relent, because in doing so, you give the accusers and whatever shadowy forces solicited them exactly what they want. Dropping out not only makes you look guilty as though you are taking punishment for admitted wrongdoing, it also empowers poorly substantiated rape allegations as an effective political tool to be used against future anti-establishment candidates. And I do want to, I guess, quickly say, I mean, we're not going to any specifics, but we could probably do almost another segment today just on the just god-awful fucking journalism, essentially, that occurred there. I'm not, I guess I do want to be kind of clear. I'm not going to be one of these people. I've seen a lot of people that like just bend over backwards to be like, just essentially sucking, was it like Jenny Rassicott's lady dick, being like, oh my God, how amazing it is that she's coming out here and being truthful and yada, 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 yada. Now, I don't know. I don't like, especially people I don't fucking know. Like, I'm not just going to reflexively just assume like she's probably telling the truth. But I will say there's nothing that like she said that's unbelievable. So she could 100% be telling the truth. I don't fucking know. That's beside the point. The point is like, how do people come to a semblance of truth? How are things reported upon? That is what like I'm more like, what the fuck? The idea that like some woman out there makes some allegation, and I guess we did cover yesterday, like it's sort of more than an allegation, but not really. Just someone could come out and make an allegation, and the idea is like, oh, we must believe them, and even if it is believable, it's like the idea, it's like a complete flip of like the burden of evidence, essentially. Like this idea that like it kind of goes back to this whole believe all women nonsense. It's like, and then no one's saying that you should like be flagrantly going out there and be like, you know what, bitch, you didn't get raped. You're like, that's wild. Like, you don't know either. But if we're talking about like, especially something of like, we're going to be branding someone a raper for the rest of their lives, I don't know. I think if you want people to believe you, it's completely fair to be like, I don't know, you gotta give a little something here. And that something could be as simple as someone just knowing someone. I mean, that now, especially if we're not talking about like literally sending someone to jail. If you're just talking about like someone believing something, it could just be as simple as someone like being someone you know, and you having a reputation of being being honorable and not lying about these sort of things. That gives you that warm and fuzzy to being willing to believe said woman or even man, given the situation. But just some random person you don't know from anybody, just like making an accusation, and just because it could be believable, it's like feasible that this thing could occur. The idea that like someone could just make an allegation that is plausible, that you then go, well, all right, fuck you, buddy, is a little wild. And while I am in no shape whatsoever saying you should vote for anybody, I think people shouldn't vote. But it is like, this is just, even as someone being like, you shouldn't vote from the outside looking in, I'm like, but what a fucking retarded way to go about it if you're going to. Like, this is kind of what I was driving at yesterday, like the political retardation of such a move of this. It's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, if like something came out and it's like pretty obvious this dude raped somebody, it's like, okay, I can kind of understand where people are like, all right, well, that's probably enough for me to not vote for him. But if you like have an allegation and this is like your guy, I believe this is dudes like that's like the, I forget what the specific stat, what was it, like the highest voter turnout for like a Democrat, or I forget what the specific qualifier is, or if it was ever, but essentially like he was pretty big deal. And all it took was some allegation with some like shoddy, not really sort of corroborations. Because we talked about this yesterday. It was essentially this lady has a claim. It was like Jenny Rassicott, and she has had a few other people that she had divulged the claim to. Now they gave one of the things. I could have talked about. I guess we are about to talk about it, but just one little thing. For example, actually, did we talk about this yesterday? Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't. The reporting was misleading when it came to the therapist, particularly because one of the big thing everybody was like, oh my God, is that she apparently, the reporting made it sound like, I don't even know if this is necessarily true, that she's had a therapist during this entire time, and she apparently made it seem like from the wording that he had reported, or that she had reported that to her therapist, and then I don't think it directly said it, but, you know, being as the way it's written, it kind of gives you the implication that, oh, this was somehow corroborated. So this is like, oh, corroborated by the therapist. No. Jenny Rassicott is the one, which this is what she's telling them, is she is the one who made that claim, that she told the thing. And they then reached out to the therapist to corroborate, and the therapist refused to comment, which, I mean, I guess maybe you want to stay out of it, but I do find that kind of wild because the only thing the therapist would need to confirm was like, yes, this lady did at one point, years ago, make this claim to me around that time. She did not have to give any sort of bearing on her, whether she believes the crime or anything, not get involved. She just be like, yes, she did make that claim to me. That's it. She didn't. So essentially, this is Jenny Rascott said she told her therapist this. Now, they did have, now some people will point to, apparently there were emails that Jenny had showed them, but that was from a month ago. And she was already working with journalists at that point. It even says in the piece, she was, it was like she, during those emails was reaching out to her therapist to corroborate. And she had emails. We didn't see the emails. So it's very much a very big trust me, bro. As I said the other day, it's completely believable. I wouldn't be astounded if this dude is out here raping broads. Wouldn't be, the craziest thing in the world at all, especially given the scenario they gave. Completely sounds believable. But there is basically no evidence. This is not a credible accusation. Everyone keeps repeating credible, credible, credible. I mean, I guess credible is very much a subjective term. So I guess it really just how do you define credible? But I don't see this as credible. Now, does it mean she's lying? Am I trying to call her a piece of shit? No. I'm also not trying to call her some fucking hero, because I find that weird and gay, and this this deference to these people coming out. Why? There's a million reasons to lie also. Are we not pretending she could be a liar? Given the huge political implications here? Anyways, just want to let you guys know there. I guess I didn't want to I got too fucking... Man, I spent way too much time on that. I got sidetracked. But with that, let's roll to the chat, say some good mornings. Let's get into foreign policy. Anytime I say I'm going to keep it short, that's when I get sidetracked rambling. But yeah, just kind of shooting yourself in the foot acting this way. It's also just a silly way to come to truth, I think, really. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's the way I look at it. What do you guys think? Let me know. Sound off in the chat. Let's pop in, say some hellos. Oh yeah, I also wanted to show you guys something, but I guess this works perfectly for the chat portion. One of the perks of being over here is I get to show you some of the stuff in here. I didn't get to show you guys. My kiddo made this for me for Father's Day. I thought it was pretty fucking cool. She made a little Venom Spider-Man little portrait thingy. Thought it was cool. Cool little artist. Actually, look right here. If you guys see that rhino right there? She made that too. Thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, let's roll the chat, say some good morning. So yeah, those are the perks. We get to being in this different room. So I gotta adjust the camera now. It's all weird. There we go. Oh, we're back. All right, let's roll the chat, say some hello, say some good mornings. As you're rolling in here, help a brother out, hit that like button. Good morning, user Chad Head. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, say what now? Letting me know it is adorable. I know it's adorable, super cute. Good morning, Daz. Saying good evening. It sounds like someone across the pond. I know you are. And hit that like button. Yes, please, people, hit that like button. Good morning, Fendelander. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Alien the Big Cat. It says, yo, fellow Klansmen. It says, saying Candace's job is done. Good morning, Matzo Ball. It says, good morning, Vietran. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Evan Griffin. Says, if you were ever in the Panama City area, my wife does a farm stand here. Come check it out. That's actually funny you mentioned that. I think I am going to somewhere around Panama. Maybe it's Panama City soon. But that's just to deliver a cat, and I don't even think I'll be leaving the airport. So I think it'll just be an airport thing. I'm not gonna drive because I'm down in Tampa. Because Panama is probably like a fucking 10-hour drive, or maybe even more, because it's in the Panhandle, right? So I gotta go up and over, so it's not even just up. So it might be around 12 or so. So I don't think I'll get the chance to go out to see anything in Panama. Probably just, like I said, stay in the airport. But I will keep that in mind. I will keep that in mind if I ever am driving around for some reason. Good morning, Fire Pixie. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Northside. He said he must have used the fire to cauterize the wound on the wiener, cutting his thing off. On the dude cutting his wiener off, I meant to say. Yeah, that would be a wild move if you cauterized your cut off wiener with your burning wiener. That would be quite the move. Yeah. What else we got here? Good morning, Elliot James. He goes, first I'm seeing you in there. He's saying, who's that guy? That's the rapist Lorax. Obviously I'm being silly. I don't know if he's a rapist or not. But that's God, how did I forget his name? Grant Platner. There you go. Who else we got? Good morning, Nevsky. It says Jose has a black Saturn ring necklace. Oh, okay, because you see, I saw Elliot's talking about the black Saturn ring. Well, I guess if you really want to get crazy, oh my God, look at the symbolism of this black ring. Well, these are earbuds. These are just earbud, but whatever. Yeah, the symbolism's everywhere. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. It says no one finds it odd that people are wearing black rings now, though. I don't know what you're talking about, Elliot James. So I kind of see you when they were talking about like black rings and. I mean, I used to have a black ring for the wedding ring. I had like a tungsten thing. I don't know. I just like black. I mean, is that what you mean by black rings? Like rings? Or are you talking like it's like necklaces? I mean, I'm not noticing some weird uptick of black rings, although like mine was. I mean, I don't know. Although I guess if you're getting at like maybe like branding and stuff, I know you always see those things of like all the different companies with black rings and stuff like all symbolism. So maybe that's what you're getting at. I don't know. Good morning, Nevsky, though. Good morning. Good morning, Gautis. Good morning. He's a habitual raper, says Elliot James, a habitual line stepper. He always be stepping over that line that be consent. Yeah. What else we got? All right, Deep Tissue Explorer, fun name. Good morning. It says Morning Joe. Good morning. Good morning. Maybe you meant Jose. If not, whatever. I'm fine with being called Joe too. I don't care. What else? Good morning, Cubertamo. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Sirhan Solo. All right, let's get into some foreign policy. Let's check in. We got a lot. It's almost hard to keep track of what the fuck's going on with U.S. and Iran. We have a lot of back and forth. Pretty much the day I left you, shit popped back off in Iran. So we have a lot to cover there. Let's dig into it. Let's get right in. We got U.S. begins bombing Iran after multiple bombers struck in Strait of Hormuz. So CENTCOM announced on Tuesday that its forces began bombing Iran, striking its framing as a response to Iranian attacks on commercial shipping. Oh, I don't have the slide up. Here you go. CENTCOM described the new strikes as powerful, and Iranian media have reported blasts in several coastal areas, including Qashem Island and the port cities of Bandar Abbas and Sarik. U.S. officials claimed that the strikes targeted military sites, while Iran's IRIB broadcast reported that most of the attacks hit civilian areas. U.S. official told CNN the strikes were not proportional and described them as punishment, adding that the attacks won't be over for a bit. A U.S. official told Axios the strikes were 4 or 5 times bigger than the previous U.S. bombing of Iran's coast that happened about 10 days ago. Axios reports that Trump approved the strikes during a meeting with his top-level officials on the sidelines of the NATO summit in Ankara. Earlier, the U.S. Treasury Department revoked Iran's oil sanctions waivers granted under the U.S. MOU, so we got those going away. Strikes and reversal sanctions came after at least 3 tankers were hit by drones in the Strait of Hormuz, and while Iran hasn't taken credit for the attacks, they came after the IRGC warned it would take actions against ships that attempted to transit the waterway without coordinating with Iranian authorities. Iranian officials have maintained that under the MOU. So just to back up, just to put it in plain terms for a lot of people, very clearly what's starting this all over again is clearly sovereignty over the strait is very clearly the thing. So there's issues they're having where essentially the U.S. forces are telling ships to go down a certain path, whereas Iran's saying, hey, how we understand the MOU, how it was written, is that we have exclusive sovereignty on on how like people travel through here or whatever. Although during this period of time under the MOU, it is free, but I do think to some degree that is a sticking point for the U.S. as well, because they really do not want to have the end state of the deal end up in the situation where now we are paying for these tolls, which, let's be real, I think that was almost certainly an inevitability. And a big thing about all this is Trump not wanting to have a pie in his face with some sort of worse Iran deal than what Obama had, which once again, that is an impossibility. Getting a better deal at this point without something absolutely paradigm shifting would be astounding, really. It's just not going to happen. I think Trump's even admitted as much at this point. But all right, back to the piece. Iranian officials have maintained that under the MOU, Iran is solely responsible for traffic going through the strait, and that any arrangement outside of its approved channels violate the agreement. The U.S. has previously bombed Iran for attacking tankers that attempted to cross a waterway along a route that wasn't approved by Iran. Now, obviously, I'm just speculating a little bit here, but that when I say this is like over sovereignty, so it's like, I know it sounds silly. I don't know what difference, what pathways may make, but if Iran is designating certain pathways and standardizing, like this is the way these things go, that would enable them to put certain infrastructure in place that allows them to maybe, I don't know, restrict people from certain areas, like whether that be like the land, the sea mines. Trump was always going on about the last time we were dealing with the strait. So like that would be the deal. And then also kind of allow them to kind of maybe strategically position their assets to be able to cover certain areas. Whereas if the U.S. is perhaps, flies in the face of that, they kind of reassert like, well, we're kind of go wherever the fuck we want. This is free. Like anybody can sail through here and they can do whatever, which Iran's like, yeah, anyone can sail through here, but they need to arrange it with us. Where the U.S. is kind of like, well, no, anybody can do whatever the fuck they want. The difference being like, obviously there's like, if, U.S. got their way here, this would essentially make it harder for the U.S., or not for U.S., but for Iran and Oman, the other country there, to kind of set up, put certain things in place to kind of set up the future, end state where they likely would be setting up tolls and stuff. And, I wouldn't be surprised if they're maybe building certain things here and there for whatever. I mean, I don't know enough about sea stuff to know what you would need to put in place for that, or even modern warfare. It may not even be like, maybe like drone stations or something at this point. After the oil waivers were reversed, the U.S. told Al Arabiya that Iran will only reap the benefits of the MOU if they exhibit good behavior. The officials added that Iran's actions were wholly unacceptable and will be met with consequences. So yeah, so they're saying that they broke the MOU with this little thing here. One of the vessels that was struck on Tuesday was the Al Rakayat, a Qatari LNG tanker, prompting Doha to strongly condemn the attack and blame Iran. So we demand that Iran immediately cease all practices that undermine regional security and threaten the safety of international maritime navigation, and refrain from endangering global energy supplies and the resources of the countries of the region in pursuit of narrow interests. The Qatari spokesman Majad al-Ansari wrote on X. Saudi Arabia also accused Iran of attacking a Saudi tanker, with the Saudi foreign ministry calling on Tehran to cease practices that threaten maritime navigation and global energy supplies, according to Al Jazeera. And so then after all this, we got Trump saying the MOU is over, which, yeah, I mean, that's kind of unsurprising, unfortunately. So yeah, we got him saying it's over. He said on Wednesday the ceasefire and the U.S. MOU are over, and called Iranian leadership scum after the U.S. bombed Iran again and the Iranian military hit back at U.S. bases in the region. It says, to me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. I think they're scum. This is what Trump said. This is why he was meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. He says, you know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people, and they're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it. As far as I'm concerned, it's over, he added. He suggested that Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner could continue negotiations if they wanted to, but they would have to come back to me. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time. The president also said that he would bomb Iran again tonight. We'll probably hit them hard again tonight. I'll give him a little warning. We're going to hit them hard tonight, but we'll see how it all works out. Later in the day, Trump said the U.S. wasn't even attacking at the highest level and threatened the U.S. could destroy Iran's civilian infrastructure. So we're back to war crimes, including bridges and desalination plants, attacks that would be clear war crimes under international law. So the highest levels of bridges, which we can knock down, I would say in one day we could knock down every single bridge in Iran. There's not a single thing they can do about it. Their electric manufacturing facilities, they have desalination plants. We'll take them out if we have to. I'd hate to do that. That's probably the one I'd like to do least, he said while meeting with Zelensky. Trump said the U.S. bombed Iran's Karg Island overnight and suggested the U.S. could take the island and that Iran wouldn't be able to do anything about that. Okay, yeah, that would bull fucking shit. Though any ground operation would almost certainly result in major U.S. casualties, since invading U.S. troops would face sustained Iranian drone and missile fire. Like, I don't even think we really even could do that, to be honest. Like, maybe we could, like, but even if we could, it's like one of those things that, like, at what cost? Like, it's you know, like, yeah, sure, a bear might be able to defeat a wolverine in a fight, like the little thing, but bears are known for, like, smelling wolverines and traveling around them. You know why? Because they will fuck their shit up, and it's just not worth it. So, and even then, that doesn't even really work for the metaphor we're making there, because it's like, even if they did take Karg Island, it's like, it's not like in this situation, like, the Wolverine's dead. Like, no, you just took over one area, and, like, you're on their territory trying to occupy their land. Yeah, I mean, like, even if you were able to take it, even then the following, like, after it, or, like, even then keeping it would be, like, another, like, can you, like, just sustain, like, just ridiculous losses. That'd be wild. The president approved the Tuesday strikes while the NATO summit after at least 3 commercial ships came under drone attack. So, Iran has maintained that on the MOU it is solely responsible for traffic passing through the strait, and that arrangements outside its approved channels violate the agreement. Which, to be fair, this has been, like, they've been saying this over and over and over again. This isn't the first time. This happened multiple times. There's been the other little skirmishes. So this is U.S. I mean, you would think at least maybe they'd try to come to some sort of terms on that if that's the case. But no, you just have Iran saying this is our understanding of it. U.S. is just kind of, you know, even despite it over and over again, Iran using kinetic action and verbal action to be like, hey, what the fuck, don't do that, kept doing it. So, I mean, I know, I guess to be fair, I guess that just means the U.S. says, hey, we can, but like, all right, then you're destroying the MOU, so here you go. So they're saying that Iran destroyed the MOU over that, but yeah, so it's a strait that this is all falling over the sovereignty of the state, it seems. We got more bombing again, so we got a follow-up to that, and you'd be surprised there's even more bombing after that, but we'll get to that in a moment. So U.S. begins bombing Iran for a second night. So this is on Wednesday, so this is yesterday. So U.S. CENTCOM said on Wednesday the U.S. started bombing Iran again, marking the second night of U.S. strikes, which came after Trump said the U.S. MOU was over and threatened more attacks. Iranian media reported explosions near several Iranian cities along the coast, including Bandar Abbas, Sarik, Kunarak, and Shabahar, and said the Iranian air defenses are confronting hostile targets. Iran's IRNA news agency reported that a firefighter was killed by U.S. strikes that hit facilities at the Iran Shah airport in southeastern Iran. CENTCOM said it was conducting additional strikes against Iran to further degrade their ability to threaten freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz. A U.S. official told Reuters the strikes would be heavier than the night before. After the strike started, Trump issued a series of posts on his Truth social account that appear to be photos and videos of the aftermath of U.S. bombings in Iran. This is in retribution for yesterday's bombings of ships by Iran. If it happens again, it will get much worse, he said in one post. Citing an Iranian source, Iran's press TV reported earlier in the day that the U.S. attacked again. Iranian forces would hit back twice as hard and completely close the Strait of Hormuz. So buckle up, guys. I mean, if you haven't figured it out already, gas prices will be going back up, and our reserves are... I mean, if you guys don't remember, like, all the talk, you know, all the reports was like had like 2 weeks of reserves before things got like really fucky. So I'd assume maybe we somehow, I don't really know enough, but I assume we built up those reserves somewhat in the meantime. So probably not exactly just 2 weeks. We probably bought a little bit more time, but I mean, between all the missile stuff, you know, it's interesting to see where this goes. IRGC responded to the first wave of attacks began on Tuesday night by targeting U.S. bases in Bahrain and Kuwait. U.S. started the strikes on Tuesday after 3 tankers. Okay, we already know that. So, all right, that's just rehashing stuff we've already covered. And all right, and then there was a follow-up to these attacks. And then after that, we're going to check live updates, because I wouldn't be surprised if there are also follow-ups to these attacks today. So now we've got Iran strikes U.S. bases across Persian Gulf after Washington's newest escalation, which is pretty interesting, because considering all the reports of the crazy amount of damage they supposedly did to many of the deployed bases in that region already. So, you know, getting rocked again. So the IRGC and the Iranian army retaliated on 9 July to Washington's latest round of airstrikes the Islamic Republic overnight, which consisted of hundreds of airstrikes. But I will say, though, I really hope that they manage to evacuate all of the U.S. personnel. I want to be very, very clear by that. But at the same time, assuming they have, fucking blow them away. I kind of like the idea that a lot of these bases have been fucked up and like are no longer operational. Oh no, people may not be able to deploy the Middle East. Oh no. Obviously, anytime somebody dies, that's awful. But I mean, a lot of these are just them hitting certain infrastructure. So, oh no, this is them hitting these bases again. So this is kind of interesting, curious what this means for the future of American adventurism in the region. I mean, it is kind of, considering we're in this certain paradigm where we have somebody who's very clearly over and over again clearly demonstrated we can like reach out and butt fuck you like pretty clearly, at least the people nearby. So interesting to see where that goes, and all the infrastructure we've been building up for decades in that region kind of seemingly very much at risk. So all right, let's keep going on. So this is apparently hundreds of airstrikes, they say. The first phase of the punitive response against the U.S. treaty breakers, the IRGC, Navy, and Aerospace Force carried out a joint missile and drone operation shortly after the enemy's attacks. IRGC said on Thursday, launching strikes from various locations across the country, they targeted and destroyed key infrastructure and facilities at 2 U.S. military bases in Kuwait. So Kuwait, Arif Jan and Ali Al Salam, and 2 bases in Bahrain, Jufair and Sheikh Isa, the statement added. RGC warned the child-killing regime that crushing responses will be expanded to include other U.S. bases throughout the region if aggression is repeated. In a separate statement, the Iranian media said it targeted a Patriot air defense system in Kuwait, an early warning satellite antenna in Qatar, and U.S. military fuel storage facilities in Bahrain, with a large wave of attack drones. The statement added that Iran's armed forces will not allow Washington to achieve its objectives. Footage on social media showed the moment an Iranian missile hit the U.S. 5th Fleet base in Bahrain. So we got a video here. Let's watch this. This is from the Cradle. Supposedly a direct missile strike on the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain. So hopefully nobody was there, but I definitely have no problem with them destroying infrastructure. So
Fine.
Oh, that was so quick, I missed it. Let's do it again. Just a quick little flash, whatever. It's not the greatest little video. Probably shouldn't even have played it. The retaliatory strikes began around 4 a.m., a few hours after a massive wave of U.S. strikes across Iran. According to Iranian media, Israel took part in the latest U.S. assault, so that's significant. You got them joining back in here. IRIB reported that U.S.-Israeli strikes hit the ports of Shahid Beheshti and Kalantari, as well as the maritime traffic control tower in Chabahar, causing power outages across half the city after 3 electricity lines were cut. 2 power lines have reportedly been repaired since then. IRIB also reported that 2 projectiles struck Brashear, while nearly a dozen explosions were heard on Abu Musa Island. Several areas in Kabudurahang, Jesus Christ, these names, county were also attacked early on Thursday. The Islamic Republic of Iran Railways confirmed that passenger services on the Tehran-Mashhad line were suspended after a U.S.-Israeli attack early Thursday struck a section of the railway route. This came as Iranians continued to make their way to Mashhad for the burial of late Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, whose casket arrived in the city of 9 July. So I know we covered the other day the burial, the whole proceedings of all of this with the with Ali Khamenei and the funeral, and there was all big, there was a big like millions, they said, that showed up in Tehran the other day. That we covered it. Well, this is like not just a one-day thing. This is a whole like days thing. So they still kind of have this funeral still ongoing while this is all happening, which kind of adds an interesting little wrinkle to all of this, and like a way to understand this, like them coming back, because a lot of people, I mean, if you're trying to see like who's doing what, when they went to this MOU in the first place, it was kind of, you could tell from Iran's people it was kind of mixed, and even then from their establishment it was mixed. The Supreme Leader very clearly voiced his I guess, dissent. Maybe dissent might not be the right word, but he kind of said, I don't really agree with this, but I'm going to defer to the speaker and to, what is the other guy's, Baligoff and whoever the other guy is. I can't remember his name right now. Can't believe I can't think of his name. Aragshi. Galibaf and Aragshi. I'll defer to their judgment. And then you have this funeral happening, so you got this fervor occurring in the country there. You can see like millions of people showing up, kind of rally around the flag effect, and then we have these things devolve pretty quickly. So, I mean, I just think that adds an interesting little thing to it. It's almost like they're reinvigorated. They're more like, fuck you. It's kind of have a little bit of that war spirit. I mean, luckily, it seemed like Iran has had more of a like incentive towards peace throughout this. But I will say that rally around the flag effect is something to keep an eye on and to be concerned about, because they may not be as looking as for peace as many people would like. So we're kind of in a dicey situation here. So I don't think they necessarily even mind really going back to odds again with the United States. So continuing on, deadly U.S.-Israeli strikes coincide with the final day of Khamenei's massive multi-city funeral. So there you go. Yeah, it was the final day, I guess. Major escalation against Iran consisted of at least 200 strikes. ABC News, citing a U.S. official, reported the strikes in Iran were on a larger scale than those of the previous night, which targeted more than 80 locations. CENTCOM says new strikes were aimed at holding Iran accountable for attacks on shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, I mean, that's what they've been saying every time. Okay, now they're just kind of rehashing stuff we already know. So that's the latest. Well, actually, that may not be the latest. Let's check in on what the latest is. Here is live updates from Al Jazeera. So, let's see. What is the latest? We got Iran war live. Tehran hits Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar after deadly U.S. strikes. So, looks like that's the response there. So we got Iran says it attacks U.S. bases and strategic centers in Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, and the U.S. bombed Iranian cities for a second consecutive night. The U.S. attacks have killed 14 people and wounded 78 over 2 days, with blasts reported in Iranian cities along the Strait of Hormuz, including Bashir, Shabar, Bandar Abbas, and Sariq. 2 hours ago, U.S. targeted military and civilian infrastructure in latest attacks. Okay, let me see if anything else in here. Yeah, this is okay. And to my point about that fervor I was just talking about right there. So this is what I'm talking about right here. There was a piece, in these updates, as Iranian flexibility mistakenly seen as weakness by U.S. during talks. That's kind of what I was getting at a little bit. Is that like people saw this as weakness, and it's like, no, they weren't weak. They were looking for peace, but like they're not as apt for peace as you may think. Iran was. Let's keep going. What else we got here? See if there's anything else worthwhile. U.S. airstrikes in Iran killed 3 IRGC members 3 hours ago. Okay. Apparently, Iran shipped out 10 million barrels of crude fuel oil overnight. So I guess they somehow, maybe kind of one last push before they close it, I'd assume. Although they were moving stuff before in the previous closure, because since they were kind of controlling it. All right. I think that might be it. I think that's all we've got right now. All right, so luckily I don't think anything's gone too nuts in the meantime, but all right, let's check in on the previous the last when this all really kicked off. It's hard to keep track because there's so many times of it kicking off, but I think this is like when it really first went like hardcore kinetic with Iran. This is where we took out the Manab school, killed something over. I guess not we. I didn't have anything to do with it, but well over 100 kids. I think it was like around, was it 140, 170? I forget exactly. We're probably about to see. But we got a report here from CNN Politics, says exclusive U.S. commanders bypass warnings about outdated intelligence ahead of strike that hit school in Iran. I'm assuming they're talking about Manab. So let's dig into this a little bit. Senior U.S. military commanders bypass warnings in critical databases that intelligence about potential targets in Iran was severely out of date and approved some strikes, including one that hit a school and killing nearly 200 children and adults, according to 3 sources familiar with the decision-making process. Messages indicating the intelligence was based on years-old intelligence that needed to be re-vetted were embedded in a system used for developing targets and required a senior officer to approve adding a site to the strike list, according to the sources. So this required this is an old one. This is an old. It sounds like they're implying a senior officer added them. I mean, maybe they did initially, but I think they're saying it's old. This is just the way the system operates. Decision by senior commanders to ignore the warnings were made for expediency, to the sources said. In a rush. So they're saying senior commanders had to, were ones who had to ignore this, is what they're saying. Okay. But it also directly contributed to the accidental strike in the school, the sources said. No, it killed 168 children and 14 teachers is the tally. So 168 kids. Those numbers would make the strike one of the worst civilian casualties in recent U.S. military history. So they're still not completely claiming that this is them. There was the U.S. that did this. Very clearly it was. So U.S. military officials knew within days how the mistake happened. One of the sources said it was obviously old info. Meanwhile, they're still acting like they don't have any clue. Months later, the Pentagon has not released its investigation of the incident. A White House official told CNN that this investigation is ongoing, and they're still saying, oh, we do not target civilians. Well, I guess you could technically say this is this wiggle word target, and I think you could say they didn't target civilians, but the problem is they killed civilians, and that's all. At the end of the day, that's kind of really all that matters. Is that you killed civilians, so stop fucking doing that. And speaking of murder, we got more murder over in Somalia. U.S. launches airstrike in Somalia for third day in a row. This is reported the other day. The U.S. launched airstrikes in Somalia for 3 days this month as the Trump administration continues a record-shattering bombing campaign in the country that receives virtually no media coverage. AFRICOM said on Tuesday its forces launched an airstrike against al-Shabaab on July 5th in vicinity of the village of Juba, about 46 miles northwest of the port city of Kismayo. So this came after AFRICOM said launched strikes against al-Shabaab on July 3rd and July 4th. Al-Shabaab alleged that recent U.S. airstrikes in the Farsuli area west of Mogadishu, an area AFRICOM said it targeted on July 3rd, hit residential buildings, a mosque, a school, and commercial buildings. So we still got more attacks in Somalia, just continuing on, just really, really itching for that big record. Let's check in. What are we at now? We're at 70. To say in there 70. I think we're 70 something. Where are we at? 72nd. This is the 72nd U.S. airstrike in Somalia this year. And they're well on track to beat their annual record, which is 124, which they set last year, which blew out the previous record, which was Trump's, and also beat out, I think, a combined, like, the past 3 presidents or something. Pretty crazy stat. He's putting up numbers. So, hey, in the stat books, his name will be in there, that's for sure. And then over in Ukraine, this is really concerning with everything else going on. Like, yeah, this is one more thing we really need thrown into the wrinkle here. Trump says he supports Ukraine's long-range attacks into Russia, will allow Ukraine to produce Patriot missiles. So, yikes. Trump repeated heaped praise on Zelensky at the NATO summit in Ankara on Wednesday, expressed support for Ukraine's long-range attacks inside Russia, and said he would allow Ukraine to produce Patriot missile interceptors. When asked about Ukraine strikes on Russian oil refineries, the president said it's an escalation, but it's also an escalation that could help lead to an end. Ukraine's long-range drone attacks rely on intelligence provided by the U.S., and Ukrainian officials told the Financial Times this week the Ukrainian military was able to strike multiple Russian oil refineries recently because the U.S. intelligence has allowed it to find the optimal flight path for its drones to get through Russia's air defenses. Top of Ukraine's success in striking Russian oil refineries, there has been a significant spike in Russian civilian casualties in Ukraine's drone attacks. Russian officials have cited the civilian deaths when justifying Russia's ramped-up bombardments of Ukrainian cities, which have led to an increase in Ukrainian civilian casualties. Discussing the Patriot missiles, Trump told Zelensky, "We're going to give a license to you to make Patriot missiles. That's pretty cool. This way you can't complain that we're not giving them enough. I said, make them yourself. We haven't informed the company of that yet, but we'll work that out all right." So now we're going to let Ukraine just make their own ones. That's great. Trump's approval of Ukraine manufacturing Patriots marks another escalation of U.S. support for Ukraine, and Russia will almost certainly attempt to target any Patriot factories that are established on Ukrainian territory. Overall, Trump spoke very highly of Zelensky, a reversal from the start of his administration, when the two clashed during a contentious Oval Office meeting. Yeah, you guys remember when he first came in here and all the fucking retards that were sucking off MAGA were like, we'll only have one war. We'll only have the fucking Gaza one. Like, I know it's really bad. He's clearly crazy in the fucking bag for Israel, but like, at least we'll stop that whole Russia-Ukraine thing. We won't be funding that anymore now, will we? Fucking idiots. You fucking idiots. It's the same mentality of being like, well, okay, so we'll just get UBI and then we'll take away welfare. But first, let's get UBI. You're like, okay, bud, let's see how that fucking works. Trump said, we've actually developed a good relationship. It's hard to believe, Trump said, adding that Zelensky has done an amazing job and it's been very effective in the war. So, yeah, this is your guy. This is your guy, MAGA. Remember when you were like, hey, we're not gonna be funding Ukraine anymore. Here you go. Here's your guy. Further like egging on conflict with Russia. Like wild. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Long range missile attacks. Yeah, go for it, Ukraine. You want us to give you some? Here you go. But on the flip side, Trump has not backed down on essentially hooking up Turkey, because recently, essentially Israel and Bibi particularly has been making a stink about the U.S.-Turkey relationship, which we've kind of, I think, had a fairly decent relationship with them for a while. But as soon as we've kind of got the big bad in our sights, then of course you always got to have the next big bad. We've always been our whole life like Iran's the big bad, and when we get Iran, the thing, the nice thing, world peace, whatever, just. We did it. We're done. The final boss is defeated. Nope. There's always another boss. And that next boss, that's Turkey. That's at least what Bibi's selling us. And he got all pissy about the F-35s thing. But apparently we're also removing sanctions. So that's good. Trump said Tuesday U.S. will lift sanctions imposed on Turkey in 2020. They would certainly consider selling F-35s to the country as he met with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in the opening of the NATO summit. Says we're going to be taking the sanctions off. He told reporters the U.S. sanctioned Turkey during the first Trump administration under the 2017 Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act over its purchase of Russia's S-400 missile defense systems. When asked about the F-35 sale, Trump said, now this is great. It's a decision we're going to make. We have a better relationship with Turkey, and Turkey has been, in many ways, much more loyal than other countries that we think would be loyal. So yeah, it's something certainly we would consider. Keep in mind, this is in the aftermath of Bibi Netanyahu making a big fucking stink about about the U.S. selling F-35s to Turkey, and this is Trump's response to that. So, which, we're in this weird situation with all this Iran stuff. Like, we can't be pissing off other global allies. And I mean, I think I wouldn't be the least pissed. While I do think a lot of times there's this fake divide between the Trump and Netanyahu administrations, but I wouldn't be the least surprised there actually is some divide, because it is ridiculous the deference the U.S. shows to Israel, and then the crazy over the top like disrespect and entitlement that Israel shows over and over and over again. So I really wouldn't be the least surprised if this is like Trump really is like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, really? You want to give me shit about a fucking fighter jet sale to Turkey? Suck my dick. So I do think there is maybe some small little bit there, but at the end of the day, they still probably have him on tape fucking kids. So, but either way, hey, that's cool. I guess he's not completely giving into the big bad narrative of the next big bad. But with us, check in on what our greatest ally is doing. Apparently they've killed at least 7 Palestinians recently, so that's just wonderful. Just one of them, a kiddo. Israeli attacks across Gaza on Tuesday. This was on Tuesday. Killed at least 7 Palestinians, including a child. Medical officials told Reuters as the IDF continues its constant violations of the U.S.-backed ceasefire deal. Let's check in on the state of the deal. So, Popular Resistance Committees, an armed Palestinian group formed by ex-Fatah fighters during the Second Intifada in 2000. I'm reading the wrong thing. I was thinking there might be some update on like the deal, or if there's anything going on, because I know just recently not the IDF, but Hamas. We covered the other day about how the Hamas has essentially started the process to give up governance of the region to some other group. So essentially trying to force the hand of Israel to actually, once again, own up to their side of the ceasefire deal that they continue murdering people under. So. But they've gone up to 1,076 Palestinians in Gaza now. That's the current death toll. And this is under the ceasefire deal. It's not including the previous tens upon tens, if not even maybe hundreds, thousands of killed prior to this ceasefire. So, no, this is just ceasefire deaths. But moving on, continuing on, over in Gaza, that was Tuesday. Now we have on Wednesday, they killed a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old. Let's see if there's any. So once again, killing kiddos. That's what Israel really loves to do here. So if there's anything updates in what's going on with if they've been able to make anything happen there. It says, while Israel never actually ceased its attacks in Gaza, strikes to appear to have intensified in recent days, as at least 6 were killed on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Escalation came after Hamas announced it was dissolving its government in Gaza, an effort to get the U.S. So, okay, there's no news there, but, I mean, we just see an uptick of, death right around the time that they're seemingly trying to make a move, so it doesn't seem like it made much of a dent here. And over in Lebanon, we got Israeli forces continue to carry out attacks on southern Lebanon, even as they geared up for yet another round of talks with the Lebanese government in the wake of more than half a dozen agreements with them that failed to do anything to stop the ongoing war. Airstrikes reported in Barashit and Beit Yahun, along with areas around Nabatia al-Faqwa. Heavy artillery shelling was reported against Ali Atur Hill, which overlooks the key city of Nabatia in the south. I will be interested to see what happens with the Lebanon thing, because as I was covering, it's kind of like, obviously, every time we've been covering this past few weeks, it's been like, once again, we have more like the MOU is not being, reached. Like this was part of the initial MOU deal, is that like they had to stop this. But now with that no longer being in the way, I am very curious what happens here, because I do think I vaguely recall there were some like overtures, I guess you could say, by Israel or by Iran in regards to protecting Lebanon before they went to the initial MOU situation. And now that the gloves are off, I'm very curious. And Iran's already reporting that Israel's joined the fight here. I'm curious to see how this works, because this could really spread out even further. And there's been all these reports that they're actually not doing that well in Lebanon, that Hezbollah has been a pretty decent little counterbalance to them. So you add in that, and then you add in Iran joining. I'm curious how this works out. Not entirely sure. Death tolls have been somewhat lower over the past week since the latest Israel-Lebanon deal was announced. Notably, however, that deal neither required Israel to withdraw from Lebanon nor to stop attacking them. The promise to withdraw from a pair of small pilot zones in southern Lebanon was quickly reneged upon, and the attacks have continued. The IDF has also been reporting clashes on the ground with Hezbollah. This has led to Israeli soldiers claiming the IDF was making false statements about the incidents, including a claim that a female soldier from the Oketz Canine unit shot and killed a Hezbollah fighter. They maintained they didn't kill anybody, and it was actually after they left that an 8112 battalion soldier shot and killed someone. This brings more uncomfortable attention to the constant dubious claims made by the IDF throughout the war. Just 2 days ago, the IDF attacked and killed 4 people in a car they claimed were suspects who posed a threat to their troops. The 4 included 3 women, among them a school principal and her mother. The possibility of Israel actually withdrawing from any of Lebanon in a timely fashion seems remote, though Trump made the assertion that he believes Israel wants to leave, citing the existing deal and predicting it's going to work out very well. When was this written? This was written the 8th? So, okay. So, a little... I don't know about that whole deal thing. The reality is the latest deal doesn't require Israel to withdraw from Lebanon at all. Oh, they're referring to Lebanon-Israel deal, because they also have a Lebanon... Israel and Lebanon have agreed upon a ceasefire that, like, literally within the terms of the deal, I think allows them to fire. It's ridiculous. It's nonsense. The reality is the latest deal doesn't require Israel to withdraw from Lebanon at all, and indeed, Israeli officials termed any requirement to withdraw or to stop attacks as red lines they would not permit in the deal. In fact, Israel Katz insisted that the U.S. had never asked them to withdraw in the first place, and Israeli officials make multiple statements seemingly every day that they won't withdraw. None of this speaks to Israel either wanting to withdraw or having intention to do so in the near term. Whew, that was a long foreign policy portion. Thanks for sticking through. And we are definitely going to have to cut the second segment, the program to Chicken Hawk. We'll definitely cover that on the next dump, but we will get into fighting Candace fatigue here in a moment. But let's roll the chat, say some hello, some good mornings, all that good stuff. Whew. Nevsky says Saturn's rings aren't even black. It's a good point. The cube on top of Saturn, that is black. That is true, yeah. Let me see. Nevsky says he wants more war crimes. That's nice. That's nice. Good morning, Burning Beards, saying they are all working together. They are creating a new regional system for that area. Most of the places being hit were scheduled for demo to create smart areas and new development. Sean Newman says, I love the show, but I'm in favor of supporting anyone that says, kiddo, you're better than that. I don't understand the hate for that. Kiddo, I mean, I guess it depends on the okay, I don't even remember when I said it just now. My bad. I almost said I'd work on it, but I don't know if I will. I kind of like kiddo. You know, feel the same way about tummy. I used to say tummy a lot. People don't like. I still say tummy. I don't know. Maybe I think it's the dad in me. I think maybe things like kiddo, tummy, like these sort of like childish words. I still hold on to. What else we got? Sirhan Solo says the Patriot missiles are a joke and it would take a few years for them to mass produce. They will lose the war by then. All Trump is doing is taking Zelensky's money. That's a good point. Sirhan. I didn't even think about like how long. I mean, it's pretty obvious that like it would probably take some period of time to like make that occur. Probably talking years. So yeah, I mean that makes sense. I don't know if they'll lose the war by then, though. I mean, I don't really know. Maybe you're right. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I haven't really seen anything necessarily to imply one or the other. They've kind of been in like a stalemate for a long ass time from what I've seen. So I don't know. Maybe they will lose the war. I mean, it does seem like something that's like so far off that it's like it's not really that much of a threat, and probably wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't happen, honestly. But the idea that you're even like throwing that stuff out there is kind of ridiculous. And if it does happen, that would definitely not be good. Good morning, Gerald. It says, wow, what a handsome guy Jose is. Oh, stop. Did I say good morning to you already, Cubertimo? Good morning. Cubert says Rumble chat is off the hook. Yeah, you guys are quite chatty this morning. That is for sure. Definitely go check out that Rumble if you're a Rumbler. Cubert, without fail, you come in. Anyone tells me I'm handsome, you got to come in here and you got to get a counter signal, don't you? You got to say now I'm trying to play tummy sticks, trying to slap my wiener on people's tummies, just because I'm handsome. Can you not deal with me being handsome? Cubert says I hate the word supper. Yeah, I don't ever say it. I don't hate it though. Gerald says kiddo or sport or champ are great if you're trying to talk down to someone. Yeah, they are great. Like, yes, yeah. But, I mean, it's also like a fun one, too. I guess it depends. Like, if you're literally talking to a kiddo, like a kid, then I do think it's like, it's not really like talking. I guess it is in the sense that you're talking to a child. It is technically talking down, but it's more just be like being fun and like, let's go, kiddo. Like, just kind of being fun. Like, not really trying to be like demeaning. But yeah, if you're doing it to an adult, it is kind of usually a talking down. I mean, maybe I could be trying to be playful or something. I don't know. All right, let's check in on fighting Candace fatigue. Let's check in on the latest. Let's do our homework on whatever's going on in the Tyler Robinson trial, because I have really completely checked out. So I figured let's dig through it together. I have developed a pretty solid case of Candace fatigue. I was paying attention to her for too long and realized, like, oh my God, this bitch is retarded or corrupt or corruptly retarded. I don't know. I'm not sure. I have no idea. But you get the Candace fatigue just all over the place. So, but, you know, it kind of makes it so you just go, fuck it. You throw up your arms. You go, you know what? There's so many other things to cover. I don't give a fuck about Charlie Kirk. Fuck Charlie Kirk. Like, that's kind of been my mentality. Like, it's like, whatever. Like, I mean, it's obviously important, but it's just kind of like, you know, risk versus reward of a million other things to do. But hey, a lot of people have been talking about it. Me and Austin just talked on Our Dead the other day, and we were talking about it last Our Dead. We're probably going to talk about it in the next one. So I'm like, hey, I need to church myself up, take the audience along with me. So let's do that. I figured we'd dig into some of the latest, just assortment of things I've bookmarked about the latest. Like I said, I believe recently just started the trial, so I think we're like a few days into the trial. So, but we'll get more information as we dig into it. But to kind of start, here's Candace Owens. Just kind of, I guess, to kind of get a vibe of the Candace fatigue, I guess. But let's cover a little bit of Candace stuff. I promise, we're not going to mire it too much in this element of the discourse, I guess, the like how exhausting she is. We'll get into Ty Robinson stuff, but I do got to at least precede it a little bit with this. Let you know what I'm talking about. And kind of touch on kind of the I guess you could say this is like the more pop culture side of this stuff. You know, the Candace Owens, you know, kind of fucking drama, whatever surrounding any given day. So whatever, it makes sense to lead within that sense. So here's Candace. Breaking news. Ben Shapiro just confessed on his show that while Charlie was being transported to the hospital and bleeding out to death, his security was on the phone with Charlie's security receiving updates. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Let's be really clear. I really don't fucking like Ben Shapiro, but whatever. I'll give you my thoughts when we get through all this. Someone explained to me why during the minutes while Charlie was dying in the backseat of the car, Charlie's security team was providing updates to Ben Shapiro's team rather than focusing entirely on saving Charlie's life and finding the killer. I will remind you all that Brian Harpole, one of the security members who was in that car en route to the hospital, is currently suing me and is using Ben Shapiro's lawyer, who has sued me relentlessly on Ben's behalf for the last 3 years. Ben Shapiro hated Charlie. Everyone knew that. So why the hell was this demon receiving updates in the mere minutes after Charlie was hit en route to the hospital? Who on Charlie's security team betrayed him in this way? Everything Ben did following the assassination made my alarm bells go off. I have told you guys there is something about the Daily Wire and their relentless stalking of me following my firing, which has made me feel altogether unsafe. I have felt their obsessive focus on destroying me as deranged and increasingly dangerous. What did Andrew Colvett mean when he told me it was supposed to be you? Why did Turning Point betray Charlie so quickly by allowing Ben to open at Amfest after declaring immediately that he would pick up Charlie's blood mic? Which that was weird. Why didn't Ben mention this before today, that he was receiving status updates while Charlie was bleeding out? I clocked that Ben was too invested in this. His energy on stage demanding that Megyn Kelly call me evil and his overprotective stance on Erica always registered to me as deeply nervous. Ben Shapiro is satanic. Everything in my soul tells me he worships Satan, literally. Which, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Look at this demeanor of this clip. It's just funny to take it to that level. We need to find out exactly who on Charlie's team betrayed him by providing immediate updates to this parasite. Share far and wide. And here's the clip. Here's the clip that we got all of this out of. Here's Ben Shapiro. Here's just the Ben Shapiro show.
So I remember where I was when all this was happening. I was in Los Angeles. I had sort of a breakfast/lunch meeting with somebody. And I got the news that Charlie had been shot, and my security was on the phone with Charlie's security because nobody knew what the hell was going on. Well, Charlie was still in the back of the car, and we were sort of getting updates along the way. At 2:40 p.m.,
okay, so that's it. It's 20 seconds. It's 20 seconds, him claiming. Let's play it one more time. It was so short. Let's get the claim one more time so you can just put it back in your head and just process what are the claims that are being made here.
This was happening. I was in Los Angeles. I had sort of a breakfast/lunch.
He's in LA at a breakfast/lunch, brunch, I guess you could say.
Meeting with somebody. And I got the news that Charlie had been shot, and my security was on the phone with Charlie's security because nobody knew what the hell was going on.
So here you go. It says his security was on the phone with Charlie's security.
Well, Charlie was still in the back of the car.
So the back of the car. That's the key thing everybody's focusing on. He says in the back of the car because that gives you a time frame here.
We're sort of getting updates along the way. Okay, 2:40.
All right, now let's see one more. I do have my boy here commented on this. So he kind of puts this in frame, at least for the timing here, to give you an idea of why perhaps that would be a little bit wonky. He goes, for those who haven't followed, this is my buddy Clint Russell. He says, for those who haven't followed this closely, CK was placed in the vehicle in under a minute. The car ride was less than 10, likely less than 5. So within 5 or 10 minutes, the Shapiro security was getting real-time updates from CK security, and that was related to Shapiro. When they should have been working tirelessly to save his life. Shapiro was not CK's friend. CK did not work for DW. While the rest of the world was just learning about a shot being fired from somehow Shapiro has a direct line to the security team, which just failed to secure their protectee. This is weird beyond belief, and I hope everyone will set their bias aside and think about how this is even possible. So disturbing. So you kind of give you the idea of like the time frame, breaking it down. Car ride less than 10, likely less than 5. So within 5 or 10 minutes, he's getting these updates. That's the whole point. So he did say. Now, what I would say that though, first off, is like a lot of people just said shit. Like Ben Shapiro's not above lying. like at all. And I know you're like, well, why would you lie about this? Because that makes you sound important. Hell, it was fucking was it Tim Pool was fucking like I think he said he was saying he was getting updates like as it was happening and being like, oh, you think he's okay? Like, okay, you know what? A lot of people gave me shit because I made a dumb joke like in the aftermath and were like, how did you not know he was dead? Because I remember there were like two main clips that were going out. There was that first one that went out where you didn't really get a great look. You kind of saw a little spurt, but it was a weird angle. I forget the exact angle. And so you're like, I don't know. It could have just been like grazed him or something. And a lot of people are like, there's no way he survived there. I'm like, obviously if it like hit directly deep in his neck, but if it's just a graze, sure, why not? Anyways, but the reason why I felt somewhat comfortable, one of the things that reassured me to make a dumb joke, I think what did I post? I posted like a Stevie Wonder with like an AR rifle. It made some joke about Charlie Kirk having a big head or something. A lot of people got really mad about that. People are still mad about that. I got death threats for that. I don't really fucking care. I lost some big follows for that too. Some like really big follows. And a lot of people are like, oh, how fucking dare you? And I never apologize because fucking I'm not apologizing for a joke. Although I will say, like as I'm saying, like this isn't apologizing, but like my current like. If I had like seen the other angle where he did get like directly the other angle that came later where you're like, oh, that motherfucker's dead. I probably would have done it because I knew what it would have been inviting at that point. But when I thought he just survived, it was just like a nick of, I thought perhaps it could have been like a nick. And I had also seen, I guess what I'm getting at here, but I keep forgetting to, I had also seen Tim Pool that was reporting like, oh, I'm getting word that he's doing good. And like, he's getting these like behind the scene like reports of, oh, I got this or got that. I think people make up shit sometimes. I really do. And that's one example of it. I think these people lie. Maybe they get bad info, but there were plenty of people who were claiming they had some sort of secret info when all this shit was going on, and it was particularly a lot of these big influencers, people in this class, the Tim Pools, the Ben Shapiros. Tim Pool was the one at that time that I saw that show up, and I was like, I remember at the time thinking, well, that's a crazy claim to make if you don't have some inside track there, and fuck you, Tim Pool. You really screwed me over there. I lost a lot of good follows, got a few death threats, so fuck you, Tim Pool. But anyway, my point being is it's like, he may not even be telling the truth. It might just be like, so he could be lying about all of it or some of it. Who knows? He could be embellishing, or maybe not even intentionally embellishing it. Like, because the little bit he added on there about him being in the back of, while Charlie was still in the back of the car or whatever, that could have just been like that could have been something he added in there to emphasize how quickly it was. Also, even then, let's assume even it was that quickly. Like, everyone's like, why would anyone from his Charlie security team do that? Let's look up. I'm curious. Actually, I'm going to look up real quick. How large was Charlie Kirk's security team? I bet you it was probably semi-decent. Let's look it up. Charlie Kirk's security team. Charlie Kirk security. Because, like, how many people are we talking about here? And because it's like, oh, they should be concerned about taking care of them. How large is Charlie? What can we find? Maybe I can grok it. Once again, I cannot emphasize enough how unreliable AI is when it comes to making sure you have legit info. But for just quick offhand, not bad. So just want to be clear as I'm about to grok, before anyone makes fun of me for using grok. I want to look how large was Charlie Kirk's security team. So let's find out. Let's look at Grok right now. I'm just curious. Just give it like a frame of like how large is his team. I know we saw the couple people who immediately reacted and were like, on him. Supposedly, because I know there's claims about whether it definitely doesn't look like they were doing that great of first aid from what I see. Okay, Charlie Kirk's private security team was typically around 5 to 6 people for events. Okay, so it's not as big as I was thinking it would be, but they increased it to about 12 or up to 13, including support for the Utah Valley University. So you have support, and that's another thing I didn't even think about there, support. So like even then, like what is Ben saying here? Like if whether regardless of true or not, he's saying somebody from Charlie's security team. So now if we are to broadly interpret that, like what could that mean? Does that necessarily mean it was literally Charlie's security team? Could have been someone who also was supporting the thing. That's probably less likely, though, because that would be probably somebody like a local cop or something, and they'd be less likely to have an inroad to like the Shapiro team. But I don't know. I don't find it particularly. How many high-profile people really are there that have these sort of security things? So whatever this given service is for Charlie Kirk, I guess it's the same one you would have for like politicians and stuff. although those are going to be like state supported, state provided. So like private security, especially for these sorts of VIPs, is probably a pretty small world if you really think about it. So is it really that unbelievable? And you add in further to that these are both people in the basically this damn near same exact place in the conservative pundit space. Then you add into that the idea of if these guys, let's assume they are doing their job as security members. You got 12 of these guys, a couple of them are doing what they do, moving the truck, doing this and doing that. I mean, how many people do you really need to deal with first aid, moving the car, yada, yada? That probably still leaves at least 5 people open. And these could be people thinking about, what does this mean? Is this, we have a huge conservative voice that just got domed on a campus. Who are other people? Honestly, if you were thinking of a short list of people that could also be possible targets on the fly, Ben Shapiro would make that top 10 list. On the fly, not knowing, Charlie Kirk's dead, shot in the neck at a campus, at the UVU campus. It's we don't know anything. If you were on this, there's some gun to your head immediately, who are let's assume this is some sort of organized thing and they're going to take out other people. Who's next? Top 10, and you don't even know why Charlie. You can't even had time to process it. You just knew Charlie Kirk, this conservative guy. Shapiro makes top 10, if not top 5 or top 3 at that point. So is it really that unbelievable that of a handful of security people, one of them calls him? I will say it is a little unbelievable that while he's still in the car within 5-10 minutes, that seems wild. But I mean, I don't know. Also at the same time though, I do want to state, I also would not be the least bit surprised between Josh Hammer, Ben Shapiro, his security team. If any of these people were involved with offing this guy, I'm also open to what Candace is implying here. I just think this is a retarded way to arrive at truth once again, on so little. But anyways, moving on past this point, the whole Ben Shapiro thing, I guess kind of giving you an inside look on what I'm talking about. By the way, actually, I'm looking right now at Grok. They said apparently at this one there were 13 people, 13 people at the fatal event. So there were 13 people for that one. So, I mean, how many people does it take to do this? The first aid, the moving the car, I mean, there's only so many different things so many people can be doing. You get to a point where there's too many chefs in the kitchen anyways. So, I mean, it's not that crazy. There's going to be a couple people standing around waiting for something to do, or maybe anticipating the next thing. And that anticipating may very well be reaching out and being contacting other security teams that you're aware of in this small group and being hey, just a heads up. So I don't think it's unbelievable. All right, let's move on past that. And then, we've covered Candace plenty. I just want to show you guys this quick clip of something I pulled a while ago. I think this one's obviously, I don't know who this Dan Cohen guy is, but I will say he's kind of obviously seemingly maybe, I don't know if he's a lefty or if he's an establishment type or what, but a lot of these conservative, he does tend to come out against a lot of these conservative guys, kind of implies they're some sort of, here he's accusing Candace of being a DNC operative, which maybe, I don't know. So just kind of give you a vibe of who this guy is. This is who he is. And actually, I don't think he's a lefty. I think he's some sort of righty, but I think he's more of an establishment type from the vibe I've got. Point I'm getting as he is kind of unfair, and then it seems, at least to me, in some of the accusations I've seen him made of some people. But either way, this speaks to kind of the artificial media creature that Candace has kind of been for a long time, since her very start. But I just want to emphasize, I do not endorse everything this guy says. As Dan Cohen, he says, Candace Owens is a DNC operative whose career was created by the late Clinton mega donor Mark Weiner. This video of Owens and Weiner's daughter, Zoe Weiner, dancing was filmed by Alla Bensk, who now heads the Secret Service audiovisual department. This is the tip of the iceberg, but it's all you need to know that Candace Owens is a wolf in sheep's clothing and a monumental fraud working for the supranational ruling class. We've showed you before her dad was handling Sandy Hook contracts. I mean, what else is there? There's her husband, her top dog Scientologist homie friend who was also working for TPUSA. There's a lot to look at with her. There was, she was, if you look in her early career, even more to this too. There was that one video, that rap video that she was in. But figured to show you this to you guys. Let's check this video out. So that's that. I don't think there's much more to that one, but just kind of, we've talked plenty, but I will admit, this is a week thread here, but we've done plenty of threads on Candace. So I did not feel the need to go with, I just wanted to go with a newer one that we hadn't covered before. One of these little frills of the threads here. But continuing on to her weird Scientologist friend. Here's John Mappin. This is one that one of you guys tagged me in. I think someone had essentially randomly mentioned him in some thread about him being close with Charlie and essentially his role in TPUSA. So this person, Audrey at heart, was just some random. I don't mean that in any bad way. I'm just saying this isn't like he's having some, I need to fill you in on who this person is. It says John Mappin was close with Charlie, regardless of what you might think of him. And this is buried deep in some threads. So like the thread here, the context is not really relevant, but it says regardless of what you might think of him, if I remember correctly, he was actually instrumental in helping start TPUSA. There are so many people connected that it's hard to remember everyone. Charlie said great things about him consistently. Now here's John Mappin, like basically one of the Scientologist whales in the UK, one of the big guys in the TPUSA UK over there. But here he is, says, we were very close with Charlie Kirk and great friends. We'll be communicating more about this. We did not help start TPUSA, but once it was started, certainly from April 2018, once we were introduced, we did a tremendous amount in helping Charlie to strategically plan and by introducing donors directly and indirectly, which helped to generate its greatest period of expansion. And we helped Charlie to enhance his intellectual power and sanity. Because of our friendship, and in no small part thanks to the wonderful work of CCHR, and the discoveries of L. Ron Hubbard, Charlie Kirk understood extremely well the vicious nature of psychiatry and its origins and purposes. We also knew a great deal about man's spiritual nature, in part due to what he learned from Scientology. That helped him, and it helped TPUSA. He always acknowledged it helped him to me, and as did those closest to him. That data protected Charlie against significant spiritual and malicious attack. It also guarded TPUSA, it and his goals and purposes tremendously for many years. We were true friends. We wanted nothing from him and he wanted nothing from me. We just had fun helping each other. Friends do that. He appreciated our perceptions and we appreciated his. And he's sharing here, an excerpt of their text or screenshots of their text messages here. It says, use the tech, blow the suppression off this planet. That's what John's saying that. Charlie responding, thank you, John. I am dealing with a massive attempted infiltration and your data has been very helpful. A targeted campaign to try and destroy TPUSA from the far right. I mean, I think he's probably referring to the, what is it called? Why can't I think of what it's called? The Groypers. The Groypers. Probably thinking that like the Groyper, what's that movement called where they like, there was like, they made it like an event. There's the Groypening? No, that's not what it was. Forget, whatever. One of you guys in the chat might know what I'm getting at. But like essentially there was this period of time where they essentially had a campaign where they were like showing up at all of Charlie's events. I think maybe that's what they're implying here. Anyways, beside the point. John goes, we're so proud of you, Charlie. You are the talk of the community here, by the way. You have so many friends here. Your word of mouth is extraordinary. He says, thank you, John. Your data is amazingly helpful. I'm fighting the psychs each day. You and Arena have been the 2019 change maker for us. So, just either way, just kind of more just showing the strong ties between Charlie Kirk and John Mappin. It was like essentially a billionaire Scientologist in the UK, shady character for sure. But all right, with all that out of the way, now we've kind of covered the the salacious side of all this. Let's get into what's going on with the trial. Here is a tweet from Sam Tripoli. He is sharing the clip here. We're talking about the shot. A lot of you guys may remember one of the big things one of the biggest pieces of, I guess you could say, not even say, it is literally, evidence that initially was being presented or was being shown a bunch and was kind of like, oh my God, look at that, was the guy on the roof, running off the roof, jumping off the roof. It was the initial video we got was really blurry. We ended up later getting a video that wasn't blurry. The initial blurry video, it's really hard to make out if he even has a gun on the thing. It looks like it's so blurry, it's really hard to tell. And then, because so people get like kind of looking at this, like, is he holding a towel? Is there this thing here? Is like, what is this? Because it looks like he's like found a way to obscure it. Later, the clear version comes out. You can see it. It's very obvious. It's clearly probably a gun. With the clearer version. So after everybody spent days arguing whether it was gun or not, Then weeks later, just kind of to, very little pomp and circumstance, they drop the nice one. Just weird how that works. But either way, with that though, if you're someone who can critically think and you go, oh wow, there's a video that shows perfectly the top of the roof. It took a while. It took it wasn't that long. Some people started noticing, wait. Like, so can we back up this video? And you go, wait, what? What do you mean? No, don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. Just, what do you mean back up? Just, no. Here's the video. No, wait. So there was, but wasn't there a video proceeding? No video. Like, but it literally, if the video literally starts him mid moving on the roof, him on like. So like, I know I'd have to. I wish I had the video here. I probably should have brought it up for you guys. But if you had the video, you'd see what I mean. A lot of you guys probably already imagining in your head. Literally, like, there's no. I do not even understand what the excuse would be for why you wouldn't have video preceding this. But essentially, like, it should have shown him, given the angle, it should have shown him probably take the shot. I mean, not even probably. It should have shown him take the shot. I mean, unless I'm given some excuse by somebody that makes some fucking sense, which I have not heard. That video should show him taking the shot. So, like, and that was kind of what a lot of people kind of were alluding to with, like, putting down the conspiracy theorists and stuff. They may not have explicitly said that, but the idea was like, well, all you conspiracy theorists, why don't you just chill out, and we're going to get to trial, and then we'll figure stuff out. Well, here we are at trial. Now it's funny. If you are a binary thinker, if you're someone who's stuck in the stupid fucking dialectic that Candace has created with the whole Fed slop, are you Fed slop? Are you Fed slop? Are you Fed slop? You may think now, you may confused. You're like, what are you talking? You sound like you're kind of on Team Candace here. What are you talking about? It's like, well, that's because I'm not fucking retarded. I am able to not get stuck in these fucking binaries. I'm not on one team or the other. I'm able to chew or walk gum. Or God, see, maybe I can't chew gum and walk. But no, we're gonna get into, like, okay, some weird shit happened here for sure. Does that mean it's whatever fucking Candace is saying any given day? No. Like, that's not how you arrive at truth by any way, shape, or form. And I think she's kind of proven herself over and over again to be a faulty way to arrive at truth. And maybe that's on purpose. Maybe she's just a retard. Who knows? You never know. This is why you need to be an individual who is capable of thinking for yourself. But either way, here is said clip. Sam Tripoli shared it. We'll give his commentary on it here in a second.
Is there any footage of the alleged shooting?
There is not, Judge.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Ms. Nestor, given that additional information and anything further from defense?
No, but I think I'd like to be crystal clear. You asked if there's any portion of this video that captures, and I believe you asked of the actual shooting. There's no video of that. There is video, however, and you've heard testimony related to this, where the shooter goes to the top of the low-C building, goes out to the edge of the building, low crawls, and then leaves after what we assume is the shot being fired. That's as close as it gets.
And the court also recognizes Utah Rule of Evidence 1102 as that is the foundation that's being laid for the admission of this exhibit. Having taken in consideration all factors, the court rules that Exhibit 12.4 is admitted into evidence and shall be played in the courtroom and may be broadcast by the media. We can proceed.
Okay, let's do that over. I want to get specifically what we got here. We're not going to watch the full clip because the last like 20 seconds are just nonsense. Looks like they're talking about like admitting the specific the video into evidence or something like that, or whatever. I don't know. Let's play this again one more time.
Is there any footage of the alleged shooting?
There is not, Judge.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
There you go. There is not. So there you go. You confirm there is not. The judge directly asked him, "Is there any video of the alleged shooting?" There's your admission right there. There is no video. Let's keep going.
Ms. Nestor, given that additional information and anything further from defense?
No, but I think I'd like to be crystal clear. You asked if there's any portion of this video that captures, and I believe you asked of the actual shooting. There's no video of that. There is video, however, and you've heard testimony related to this, where the shooter goes to the top of the low-C building, goes out to the edge of the building, low crawls, and then leaves after what we assume is the shot being fired. That's as close as it gets.
And the court also recognizes...
Okay, that's the end of that. I just want to play it again just so we make sure we got specifically what he said. So he claims that the video that we have is what we have, and that's the end of it. So now I guarantee you this is almost certainly going to get twisted by many, pushing the establishment side, or the Fed slop. That, although I say Fed slop, but what I was getting at is a lot of people have this like retarded, like if you aren't on the Candace trade, then Fed slop. But either way, like I guess the actual Fed slop, this is something I'm a little salty about. I'm really mad they took away Fed slop because there was a small window of time where Fed slop was actually a fairly useful language to use to describe essentially goy slop, but more specifically in regards to like our own domestic government and the certain ops that they play. And Candace took that away from us and has completely made it a thing that stupid fucking people who think they know something because they've read a couple things and have, just newly red pill. They're like, oh my God, Fed slop. And you're like, okay, well, Fed slop's gone. But either way, what was I getting at there? Fed slop, Candace took Fed slop there. I forgot where I even got the tangent there of the Fed slop, but I don't know what it's getting at. Essentially, the so-called Fed slop actors, like the way that this is almost certainly going to be framed, if it's not already, is that like, what do you guys need? Like a literal video of him shooting the guy before you'll accept that he shot the guy? And it's like, well, that's not what anyone's really saying. What anyone's saying is like, why the fuck is there not a video of being shot if we have the video of him that like perfectly cuts, starts with him mid-movement? Like I think if you see the video, it's not even like he enters frame. It's like I believe he's already in middle of frame of the video. So like maybe you could say there were like a few previous seconds where he enters frame and he's out of frame. But I think even where the video is showing is like basically roughly where he would have shot from. So at the very least, we should be able to see a video of him entering the frame of the camera. We don't even get that. I think he's already like mid frame while he's running. So that's what people are saying of like, well, what the fuck? Can we at least get like something of entering? Why? Like at least a why? Like, is this some sort of bizarre camera that only records in certain ways? Like motion active? I mean, that doesn't make sense either to me particularly, but either way. So they're saying there is no shot. There's no shot. But let's check. Apparently there was unsealed court documents. I don't know if this will make us think anything more here. Here's from Kanakawa the Great. I know he's typically one of these people more pushing the Tyler Robinson did it thing. Now, to be very clear, I guess I want to say, like, if I were to surmise, once again, I've said I haven't paid attention to this quite enough because I did initially off the jump and then got Candace fatigue. I wouldn't be, but essentially what I'm getting is I wouldn't be, from my knowledge of it, I wouldn't be surprised if Tyler had something to do with it. If anything, I probably lean towards he did have something to do with it. I just don't think the whole, like, lone wolf narrative is likely flawed. But anyways, back to this. Here's unsealed court documents reveal never before seen text messages between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs in the hours after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Robinson tells Twiggs, "I am fucked, and there's no way of getting out of this short of my family being willing to cover me." Let's not read what Kaneko has to say. Let's read the excerpts here. Actually, let's just get right to it. So Lance Twiggs' first message: Tyler, 3 hours ago, there was an officer with a canine walking near the area, hoping that Pooch has a bad sniffer. Second message, Tyler again: I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle because it sounds like the police couldn't get in for a long time because of the traffic. Third message, needless to say, I'm going to be late coming home. My B. I do gotta say, so far, this is weird. Because one of the weird things, I mean, we're only a couple sentences in. But one of the weird things, I remember there was that one, I forget even what specific text exchange, but there was that one initial text exchange that we really was making the rounds between Tyler and Lance. And there was like, it was the one that everyone was like making fun of, that it was like AI created because of the way he was talking. He was talking very odd, using weird language. Well, now we're already reading this, and it actually sounds more like completely believable language that somebody in what was he, like early 20s would probably talk like, saying like, oh, I'm gonna be late coming home, my B, like stuff like that, as opposed to, I forget exactly the way he was talking in the other one. Maybe some of you guys in the chat will remember for comedic effect and remind me, because I remember it was pretty ridiculous, some of the shit that was in there. But this is looking a lot more like, how a normal person would talk, which is funny because it's like, I mean, if you are leading into like the feds are doing some weird, squirrely shit in the background, it almost seems like they're like, fuck, well, like this is them fixing up like, shit, this is where we fucked up, like how these kids would talk or whatever. But even then, though, you would think that if that were the case, wouldn't you want to just like stick with whatever the previous one was? So like, I don't know, whatever. I don't know how to process why at one point he was talking like some fucking weirdo as if it was an AI created message, and now he's talking pretty much like how I would expect someone of his age to talk. All right, whatever. Third message, needless to say, I'm becoming home late. Might be. Fourth message, just stay safe. This is from Lance. Fifth message from Tyler, I will. Sixth message from Tyler, I'm more worried that what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle, which I think we've seen little segments of this, but not the full thing. Seventh message, he's far scarier than any Fed NGL, not gonna lie. See, that's totally how someone would talk. Eighth message, this is Tyler, guess I'm just sitting in my car watching reels for another hour, hoping this guy fucks off. Ninth message, Lance, are you okay still? 10th message, yes, check-in spot again now, Will. Lance showed FBI agent Lange additional text messages between Tyler Robinson and himself. The text messages were photographed by investigators as Lance showed them the text messages. The following is the text content of one of the pictures that investigators took of messages between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs. First message, I'm sorry. This is Tyler. I think this might be it. If the way is clear, I can try and come your way to say goodbye. After that, I have a spot in mind that I'll call police to. Second message, Lance, are there cops outside? Third message, Lance, and why are you calling the police anywhere? Fourth message, Tyler, not yet, but I have no doubts they will be on me within the hour, and I will be giving my location up, and I will be going out on my own terms. I have no intention of being drugged through the courts in front of the country. Can I come see you? After that, I can call my dad and see if he's willing to help me out. Fifth message, Lance, I'm just at my parents' right now. Maybe I could make an excuse to head home for a bit. Sixth message, Tyler, you would need to do that right now. Seventh message, Lance, any ideas? One second. Sorry, I'm just real quick. The first bit of this paragraph was redundant. I was just double checking, making sure it wasn't the same. It says Lance showed FBI special agent additional text messages between Tyler and himself. So this is a different text exchange. Once again, text messages were photographed by investigators as Lance showed them the text messages. The following is the text content of one of the pictures that investigators took of messages between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs. First message, Tyler, for an excuse, I don't know. Second message, Tyler, for getting out of this. None short of my family being willing to cover for me, I am fucked. Third message, Lance, I'm not going to be able to leave. Fourth message, what's something urgent I would need to leave for? Fifth message, Tyler, you should say I told you there's an emergency at home that I need you for with few details. Sixth message, Lance, I said I'm swapping laundry, heading home now. Seventh message, Tyler, nice, I will see you soon. Eighth message, Tyler, co-worker has just sent me a still of me on campus. What is your ETA? Ninth message, Lance, like 3 minutes. Lance showed FBI special agent additional messages. So another one. This is the last one here. The text messages were photographed by investigators as Lance showed them the text messages. The following is the text content of one of the pictures that investigators took of messages between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs. First message, Lance, why? Second message, Tyler, why did I do it? Third message, Lance, yeah. Fourth message, Tyler, I had enough of this hatred. Some people can't be negotiated out. This one we've definitely seen, I think. It says fifth message, if I'm able to grab my rifle on scene, I will have left no evidence. Some hate can't be negotiated. Actually, I don't know if we did see this one. That some hate. I just feel like maybe we saw this in another thing where he said similar things. I feel like I remember that being in like the letter that he left for Lance, because I remember there was that supposed letter that he left for Lance. They found that they were saying was like a confession, but it was just some random letter found at Lance's, which maybe it was. I don't know. Yeah, going to attempt to retrieve again. Hopefully they moved on. I haven't seen anything in the news about them finding it. I will update you by midnight. Sixth message, Lance, all right. Seventh message, Lance, stay safe. Eighth message, Lance, how long have you been playing this? Ninth message, Tyler, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. So there's the text messages that these are court documents that we've gotten that have come out about this. So a little bit more. I mean, let's be real. I don't think this really gives us really anything more. I will say it is weird the vernacular he's using here, the language, the way he talks. And you compare it to some of the other ways he's talked and other things. Particularly the infamous one where they're talking to each other like it's AI. So that's weird. But either way, this is just words on paper and claims that this person said this thing and that person said this thing. But this assumes that this Lance guy would likely be some sort of witness or something of the like. Maybe we'll end up seeing him soon. But we'll come back to Lance in a second. We have one more thing to talk about him. But there was they talked about in the court about the paving over of the crime scene. And it's pretty astounding what limited knowledge the lead investigator had about this. So let's watch this.
I want to go back, if I can, to the scene itself, the preservation of the actual scene where where Mr. Kirk passed. Did you all have canine dogs at any point that sniffed that area?
I don't know specifically that area, but I do know that canines were present, or a canine was present on the day.
But you don't know what task the canine was given?
My understanding was that it may have been used in an effort to track an individual that had jumped off the roof, but I don't know for certain.
And obviously that didn't produce any results, or we would have heard about that, right?
Yeah, not that I was made aware of.
Okay. Do you know when the tent and the stuff was actually removed from the scene?
I don't. I would imagine it had been at least a couple of days, if not longer than that, before anything was removed from the scene.
You didn't have to give permission to remove the tent?
Me, personally?
Right.
No.
So you're not sure when it was removed?
No.
And were you involved in the decision to pave over the dirt that was under the tent?
At UVU?
Uh-huh.
No.
Did you know that happened?
Only because it was in the news.
All right. But you don't know when or who ordered that?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I have some grave misconception on how law enforcement does things, but I mean, I know someone, please, if there's anyone in the chat with law enforcement experience, or I mean, someone explain to me how this could make sense. Like, I understand that this is a private, that UVU is a private area. Like, this is owned by private. Is it really private? Actually, I don't know. It might be. What is UVU? It's a university, so it actually might be. It's probably fucking got state funding, now I think about it. So, it's a public university, so even more so. You don't even have some weird abstract private ownership argument that you're like, oh, well, this is mine, which wouldn't even make sense if we're talking about a crime, because the government's, going to overrule that and go, fuck you. Like, there's a crime here. Like, we got to investigate. But no, this is a public university. I can't even, so this is literally government property. Although that is I get that, that's a contradiction in terms. I get that. But either way, you know what I mean? So from their perspective, they should have full ability to do, be able to lock down the area. Nobody can come in and out certain spots. We're going to preserve the evidence. But no, still despite that, within days, they paved over the crime scene. The lead investigator seemed to not know why. So let's repeat it right here. Stu Peters gives a back and forth here. We won't play the whole clip. He says, were you involved in the decision to pave over the crime scene? The agent, no. Did you know that happened? Only because it was in the news. Says the agent leading the entire investigation didn't even know what this crime scene was paved over. So let's look at this up. I want to look this guy up real quick. Hull, Kirk case. Let's see if we can find out who this guy is, because maybe he's the FBI guy. Because if that was FBI, that might be an out. Nope, he's a State Bureau of Investigation. Because I was going to say maybe if he was an FBI guy they were investigating or interviewing, that makes sense. Maybe this is just somebody being stupid and being like, oh, well, the FBI didn't know this. Well, the FBI wasn't running this. I mean, I know they were heavily involved, but I believe this is a state thing. Like, there's no real reason. There's no federal implication here. There's no crossing state lines. This was an interstate conspiracy. There's no real reason for there to be a federal bureau involved in this. So, but that isn't federal bureau. So I was thinking maybe this is like an FBI guy and they're asking questions and people being like, oh, look. But no, this is the lead investigator. He is an agent. He was an agent. What is he? I guess he was a former now. Let me see. Let's look it up real quick. I found who is this guy? Let me see, because I found this piece real quick. If people are curious, over People, Charlie Kirk, murder investigator, never heard of him. Then he was thrust into chaotic manhunt. So who is this guy? Let's see. He's an investigator. He led the investigation of the shooting. He had never heard of the prominent right-wing activist before the attack. He's a former agent. Okay, so maybe I'm wrong. Okay. With the State Bureau of Investigation, said his job was to identify Kirk's killer. So I don't know what that means by former. Like if he's left since the investigation, or if he's doing the investigation for some other bureau, or if they brought somebody out of like retirement. I mean, that doesn't make sense. But apparently he's the one leading the investigation, whatever that means, whoever is. I'll see if there's anything more on him here. But okay, no, so I really am struggling to understand why this guy shouldn't know or shouldn't have the say-so to be like, no, you don't just get to fuck up my crime scene. All right, so that is the state. This is bizarre. And then to add to all of this, we got Lance Twiggs getting limited immunity. A lot of people concerned about that. I know, myself included, many people a little concerned this guy perhaps could be a glowy of sorts, completely tracks. If you're a pattern recognizer, that would be this motherfucker. Like, if anyone's going to guess, if this were CSI and this were, regular, serial, an episodic show, and we're like, who's the Fed here? Like, in this given scenario, it'd be like, probably this guy. So we got from post-millennial, Tyler Robinson's trans lover given limited immunity ahead of Charlie Kirk murder trial. Well, now what does that really mean, though? We've got Andrea Burkhart here, laying out what particularly this means. Maybe it's not quite that big of a deal. Maybe it is. I don't know. Let's hear her take this. Andrea Burkhart says, here's the state's account of Lance's cooperation with the investigation. They are arguing the defense hasn't shown cause to compel his testimony at the preliminary hearing because they only want to test his credibility. And that's an issue for trial. Okay. So they're saying his credibility is an issue, which, I mean, I think there was we saw stuff where there were implications that these guys were on-off involved in drugs. I mean, they're a young gay couple. I mean, let's be real. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a drug problem there or just one of these guys. It's not surprising there would be some sort of issues there that perhaps someone could jump on. And they're saying that they haven't shown cause to compel his testimony, but that's just at the preliminary, which is what we're currently in, I believe, the preliminary hearing. So they're saying, so I guess we won't be seeing his testimony here. I guess we're going to wait for the main trial for this. Let's read this thing she showed, this document. It says, on September 11th, 2025, just after Tyler Robinson turned himself in, Mr. Twiggs gave a statement to investigators. He told investigators that Robinson had admitted via electronic messages to him and others that he had killed Charlie Kirk. Investigators photographed the messages from his phone. Now, I will say, if this guy doesn't end up in the main trial somehow, that would be like, what the fuck is going on here? So the April 20th, 2026, in preparation for the preliminary hearing, Mr. Twiggs gave a recorded statement under oath, and after an admonition that any false statement would be punishable by law and could be charged as obstruction of justice, Mr. Twiggs was also given use immunity by the U.S. Attorney's Office and the Utah County Attorney's Office, meaning the statements as at that April 20th meeting could not be used against him. Twiggs' April 20th statement was consistent with his September 11th statement. In it, Mr. Twiggs described several of defendant's statements to him. The defendant killed Charlie Kirk, that he had a firearm, and that he told Mr. Twiggs not to speak to law enforcement. Most of these statements were through electronic messages from defendant, and one came from a handwritten note. At the preliminary hearing, the state intends to offer Mr. Twiggs' April 2026 record statement, as well as the photographs of defendant's messages, which were found on Mr. Twiggs' phone during the September 11th interview. So we will be getting a recorded statement, if they haven't already, from Mr. Twiggs. Now, I would assume he would have to show up in the main trial. If somehow they find a way to not have him show up in the main trial, that is when you go, what the fuck is going on here for sure. And then she clarifies even more so here, Andrea. She says, use immunity differs from transactional immunity. In the first, transactional immunity would prevent them from charging him with a crime at all. Now, I'm still not entirely sure what to make of all this. I'm sure we'll definitely have a lot more info come out as time goes on. Who knows? Maybe by the end of this, we'll go, oh shit, the Fed slop narrative was correct. Maybe it was some lone wolf troon lover out there just really mad at that big head. I mean, maybe. I mean, it does seem a little silly for those of you who's followed Charlie Kirk's work. Like, yeah, I guess he was anti-trans, but I don't really feel like he was like viciously so or anything, but hey, whatever. I mean, of all the things going on at the time, that did seem like an odd angle, but whatever. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, in the chats if you want to. We're about to go through them right now. But with that, let's roll through the chat. That's all I got for our dig into what's going on over in the Tyler Robinson trial, talking about fighting Candace fatigue. We'll be back on the next dump talking about Program to Chicken Hawk, covering those MKULTRA hearings that happened. We have an outro for here in a little bit after we dig through this chat, so don't bounce. I got something cute for you guys today I think you'll like. Let's roll through, say some our goodbyes, and get on out of here. Good morning, Bug Fights. Good morning. Who else we got here? Good morning, Ariana. It says Charlie Def sitting somewhere on a new identity. Yeah, I wouldn't be least surprised if he is literally chilling in somewhere called Valhalla right now. I would not be at all. Definitely not. He says, I believe he and Erica were both groomed for the roles for build up to this specific event, which is to usher something else larger in. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either at all. Like, I will say some of the stuff that I found off-putting about Candace has been her behavior towards Erica, but I do want to caveat that in, but that's not because I don't think she's suspicious. I think it's suspicious the way Candace went about it. It was weird because it kind of came in. She initially came in with this weird deference for Erica, as if, and then weirdly going hard in the paint after her. That was like, what is this? If anything, it kind of almost feels like a put on to me. Like it almost was like a contrived argument or something. I don't know, whatever. I just felt it seemed weird, especially since she kind of set the scene with all this Charlie Kirk stuff is like, oh, I'm here for Erica. Like she even like initially when the first few episodes, like if the only person who stopped me on this crusade is Erica. And then it wasn't like even that much longer. Erica was like, please stop. And she's like, no, which like, to be clear, she shouldn't stop just because Erica says it. But I also wouldn't have said that like Erica could stop me. So let's keep going. Texas. Candace's not looking for truth. She's looking for attention. Yeah, probably. Yep. Let me see. Burning Beard says General Polly Valley, being the TPUSA Advisory Council, should tell us what we need to know about TPUSA and all the big names associated with it. Add Mappin in there. I mean, come on. Yeah, for real. Yeah, General Polly Valley, which we've covered in this show. TPUSA. He's on their board. He is the guy who co-wrote Mind War. Was it the Mind War, God, I always forget the subtitle there. Mind War, God, I don't want to fuck it. I got the internet right in front of me. Might as well look it up real quick. Mind War, the psychological war. No, never mind. That's the wrong one. Fuck. Let me look it up. Quino. Sorry. Yeah. Mind War. I always fuck. Why is this not just easily just Google from PSYOP to Mind War? The psychology of. God damn it! Sorry, I clicked on this. Okay, there we go. The psychology of victory. So right here, I can even show you right here. Commander Polly Valley, the commander, with Major Michael Aquino, the PSYOP research and analysis team leader. That guy right there, Polly Valley. He is on the TPUSA board, and you may be like, oh, whatever. They're talking about like some military psyop something or other. There's some military guys. Major Michael Aquino is one of the most prominent Satanists of all time. He's also very much maybe implicated might not be the word, associated with some pretty prominent pedo ring stories, I guess. I don't know. I was looking for a word, not deep boost, but whatever. There you go. So that's Michael Aquino for you. And this is in the PSYOP research. This is literally their PSYOP unit over there in the military. So this is the headquarters, 7th Psychological Operations Group in the Army Reserve, Presidio, San Francisco. Presidio is actually where one of those controversies I was speaking about occurred, at the Presidio. This is in San Fran. So this is literally a PSYOP group, with one of these people being one of the most prominent Satanists in the America. The other person's currently on the board. the board of TPUSA. Nothing weird to see here. Nothing weird. Nothing at all, guys. Don't worry about it. Here we go. Next, Texas says Candace also said she would stop if Erica told her, and when Candace did, Candace said "fuck you." Exactly, which is like that is like yeah, but yeah, never mind, I'm retarded. Yeah, so exactly. I know I just said that too, and that's the thing though. It's the way she's behaved to this, and like it's just not consistent with what you would think. But all right, guys, with that, let's get out of here. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Sorry, I meandered too much to get into the MKULTRA stuff, but we'll do that probably tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I should be here tomorrow. I don't see why not. I should have Jacob on tonight, by the way, to covering another, for the patrons, covering another West Memphis 3. Why couldn't I think of that? Another West Memphis 3 episode. So pop in for that one if you're a patron. Hang out, check it out. You'll get it way earlier than the rest. For those who want to support the show, leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. You can find the show on YouTube, Rumble, all the major audio podcatchers, and Twitter as well. On Twitter, that's at TarragangJose. Everywhere else, it's the No Way Jose podcast. And if you want to support the show the best way you can do that with money over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level, or No Way Jose 2020. And then the top left hand corner, you also got a QR code right here. You also got a QR code, bring you to the same exact place. A little over $2. You get access to early episodes. Do about 1 to 2 of those per week. Keep 3 to 4 behind the paywall on any given time. Give you guys access to ad-free RSS feed. Give you guys access to Telegram, the pre-show, the post-show, and video calls on me and Austin's weekly live call-in show, Already Dead. Also give a big shout out. The highest level of my Patreon is a big thank you for their support at my previous co-host entire gang, at Leonard Toad, also at Brigade D's, at ZWRCK, at _Infinite Tim Toll, at John Klebold, big fan of the show, Torn May, at Wayne Tackles, when I cover kids, no free lunch, Jack, Mark Vestibule, Jacob Winterguy, Biblical Energy Podcast, and John Black, you beautiful bastard. Didn't see you in the chat today. Where the fuck are you at? But with that, well, I'm sure I'll see you in the comments in a little bit. With that, guys, did you know skunks are cute as fuck? With that, check this out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you.
You're tough. You're tough guy. You're tough. You're a tough guy.
Where's your mommy at? You're so tiny. Where's your mommy? Oh my gosh.
Poet, what is this? What'd you do? What did you do? Don't you scream at me.
Young lady.
Chocolate. Jesus Christ, I got you some goddamn blueberries.
You're just a baby.
You're tough. You're tough guy. You're tough. You're a tough guy.
Where's your mommy at? You're so tiny. Where's your mommy? Oh my gosh.
Poet, what is this? What'd you do? What did you do? Don't you scream at me.
Young lady.
Chocolate. Jesus Christ, I got you some goddamn blueberries.
You're just a baby.
You're tough. You're tough guy. You're tough.